Hello Smallville fans, OMG, 200 episodes of Smallville. Are you freaking kidding me? I remember watching the 100th episode, waiting that whole day to find out who was gonna die. There were no spoilers, you couldn't find it anywhere, but I found a Smallville website in French that I translated with Google and found that it was Jonathan, because that's what a hardcore fan I was. So 100 episodes later and here we are. So this was a really good episode. I loved seeing like the Crows cheerleading outfits and like the Smallville High establishing shot and the torch set and like, oh my gosh, because seasons 1 through 4 of Smallville for me were some of my favorite years. Love me or hate me for it. But you can see, I'll show you guys, how these DVDs are really worn. I explained it in my first video, but they are literally not falling apart because I would die. But they're really like, they are really worn and really well watched. Like seriously, they're falling apart more than my other ones are. And there's a reason for that. It's because seasons 1 through 4 were some of my favorite years on Smallville. Clark first went to the school and he had that remembrance. They used a clip from the pilot of Lana. Oh my god, I screamed so loud. I had mentioned that episode in a previous video. I love the whole wall of weird because there's some of the biggest quotes that you remember, like, I call it my wall of weird. Like, you just remember those things. I'm so sad Allison Mack wasn't able to be part of this episode. I also love that they played You and Me by Lifehouse when they were dancing, because seriously, season 4, the episode Spirit used to be one of my favorite episodes when Clark and Lana danced at prom together. Oh, it feels like such a long time. 6 years ago. I don't even want to go there. It's such a long time ago. I don't even want to think where I was 6 years ago. That was definitely like a highlight of that episode for me. The guy from Metamorphosis was in this episode. I don't know who caught it and who didn't, and I'd be so mad at people who didn't catch it. I had heard that he was going to be in an episode, so I kind of knew it was coming, but when I saw him, I recognized him. He was like, seriously, the second freak of the week ever on Smallville history. To bring him in, like, 9 years later, almost to the episode, is crazy. How he thanked Clark, because he kind of turned into bugs and he floated away, because Clark never really killed anyone. They just kind of, you know, if you've watched the show, they kind of just vanish. So I love that he was like, thanks to Clark, tell him I said thank you. And Clark finally got to see Jonathan and Lionel arguing. I wish we could have saw Pete, more Lana, more Chloe. Lionel, I love Lex. Where's my Lex? Like, I know they couldn't fit any of that into it. I have full faith that they did what they could and I loved it. But I'm just saying, like, oh, it made me so sad because I could have watched this episode for 10 hours just like a recap reel of Smallville past. I also really liked the future of Clark in the elevator. He got to meet himself. I liked how he said that he'd become really nerdy. I laughed so hard at that. But I loved Lois. She was very open about it. And like I said, it just shows the maturity of the show that finally he meets this character, and no duh, it's Lois Lane. But finally he meets this character who understands it and is there for him and doesn't kind of hold it against him like the trouble he's had in the past with other people. Lois thought that Clark was on like some sort of kryptonite. That was a highlight of the episode for me. She was like, you're acting weird. Oh no, is it red? What about black? Because I'm not going there again. That was hilarious to me. This whole darkness thing that Clark has in him, I feel was kind of the writer's kind of a crutch to bring in another conflict into this final season. And I'm not trying to be like mean about it, but I was like, if we were going to explore darkness in Clark, we would have done it like 4 years ago. Even season 3 when he took the red K. Even, you know, season 6 after Lana got married to Lex. Like, this isn't really the time to be saying Clark has a dark side. That time has come and gone, in my opinion. So I liked how they kind of switched it and said it's because you're blaming yourself, so you're going to have this darkness. And I was like, oh, that makes sense for Clark's storyline. Not as much as it's not as dominant as they're saying it is, but it does make sense because Clark does have this tendency to self-loathe. I also love James Marsters, oh my gosh, Brainiac in this episode. Bringing him in I wasn't so sure about, but it was great how he came from the future and he was there to help Clark. So we get to the ending scene and Clark and Lois are in the barn. And they're dancing, and I'm like, he's gonna hover. I knew. So it reminded me of, not Crusade. What was the episode before that? Covenant, season 3 finale, when him and Kara, whole nother story, were like floating, and she's like, you're doing it too. That made the episode for me. The whole episode could have reeked, and that made it for me. So all in all, it was an amazing episode. What a great way to like commend, especially in the last season. Not many shows get to 100 episodes, but to get to 200 and to have an episode that was this good, awesome. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for more Smallville. Bye.